One of my favorite recipes to make is rice and beans, and I am going to use my new, well actually not so new right now, but the newest pot in my collection, and it's a Dutch oven. Right now in the middle of it is some olive oil that's beginning to heat up, a half of one very large onion, 3 pretty big cloves of garlic, and I'm about to season them with some salt and pepper. So I'm going to wait until they get, well, at least until the onions get a little more cooked down and a little more translucent. But after that, I'm going to season them with some salt and pepper, most likely some hot paprika and some sweet paprika, and a couple of other spices that I'm going to keep a secret because this is a special recipe. Okay, I have added the broth to the rice and the onions and the spices, and now I am going to crank that heat up so that I get a nice boil. And then after it boils, I'm going to turn it off and put the cover back on it and let it rest for 20 minutes. The fellow at the store said that this pot would be able to cook perfect rice every time. So what he said was bring the rice to a boil and then put the top back on, turn the heat off for 20 minutes because it's supposed to hold its heat like an oven. Okay, let's turn the timer 20 minutes and then let it sit. While the rice is cooking, I am making my bean mixture. Basically, it's a large can of organic pinto beans, some tomato paste, 2 cups of water, and, oh boy, a handful of spices, that's for sure. I also cut up some extra little cherry tomatoes that my mother gave me when she was preparing to leave for Alaska for 2 weeks, so she was getting rid of things that might be perishable. So I said, alright, these will melt into nothing in the middle of the rice and beans. So now we are, basically about 11 minutes along, and I'm just dying to see what's in here, but I can't. He said leave the cover on, so I'm leaving the cover on. Well, while it's still steaming hot, the rice is definitely not done, which is okay because we still have to cook it some more with the beans and the tomato sauce. So, you know, 20 minutes is not the way to go. I'm thinking that it has to boil for a bit longer and retain a little more heat before, let me turn this down a little bit, before you can sit and wait with the top on. At this point, I have added the bean and tomato sauce mixture to the rice and onions and spices, and I'm giving it a really good stir, and I'm going to let it cook down for probably about 45 minutes. Here we are at the moment of truth. Wow. I turned off the heat because there is definitely more than enough heat with this Dutch oven at the moment. Switch camera hands. Take a look. Well, it definitely looks like it's very well done. A little on the wet side, but what I'm planning to do is leave it off and covered and let it cook the rest of the way down by the time we're ready to eat it. But I tasted it for spice earlier, and I was very happy with the flavor. A lot of it has to do with the vegetarian organic broth that I added to the rice early on, and the spices. I mean, the spices were good. A recipe is always as good as its ingredients.